guys, it's Ellie and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm gonna recommend you some books for teenagers. Now, these books are best for teenagers, but then it doesn't mean that you can't read them if you're not in your teens. You can read almost any of them anytime, but I decided to make this video primarily because most booktubers or anyone in general recommends romance and young adult books when they are talking about teenage books. But I feel that teenage is a time when you must read an assorted collection of books. So I am trying to show you guys some of the best books that I've ever read across several genres. So I hope that you'll like my recommendations. But this is just a disclaimer that this video does not have many romance book recommendations. So in case you're looking for them, you can go and browse my channel. I do have some romance book recommendations already. There's an Indian version and I will be making an international one soon. And you can also search YouTube because there are so many booktubers who have already done romance book recommendations. But I think teenage is not just a time for romance. It's time for so much more because honestly, there's so much more to life than romance. So in case you want very different kinds of books to read in your teenage years, you're watching the right video. The very first book that I want to recommend to you guys is, the name of this book is Secret by Pseudonymous Bosch. Obviously, Pseudonymous Bosch is not the real name of this author. The whole thing about this book is very secretive, and this is actually a series which explores sight, sound, smell and all those five senses through this book's plot, which is like very interesting to read. And the chapters in this book are so good and very interactively written. You have two children who are trying to discover the mysteries left by a magician, which is like very intriguing. Obviously, this is not a deep novel, but it's very good in case you want to read something very exciting and fun. But in case you want to revisit your childhood, please go and read this book, because when you are in your teenage, you slowly start missing your childhood, which has happened with me. I'm in the last year of my teenage years and I don't know what I'm gonna do once this time is over, because honestly, I love being in my teens. I don't really want to grow up. The next book that I want to recommend is Sita, Warrior of Mithila, or you can also go for the first book of this series, that is Ram. I absolutely love what Amish writes, and his retelling, rather I would say, of Sita is absolutely beautiful. I don't know how he manages to write things so candidly and so vividly and just creates a whole new world of mythology. Like, I would not regret if Amish was the writer of mythology of our times that people are going to read 2,000 or 3,000 years from now, because honestly, we all know that mythological characters are trending people from the past times. You can obviously guess that this book is about Sita, who is my favorite mythological character after Draupadi. The reason I love Sita so much is that she leaves Ram when he does not live up to her expectations of a husband. Now, I want to make a video on Ram himself. I think Ram was a very able king, but he was a terrible husband. And he was a good husband initially, but then I think the duties of the kingdom were more important to him, and I can't really blame him for that. I just think that he was a terrible husband. The next book that I want to recommend is Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. This tale is set in Odisha, and this is a book of a series. I'm not sure how many books this series will have. I think 3 or 4. Only reason I love this book is because of the character of Zelly, who is the protagonist of this book, who is absolutely mystical and magical and elegant and so impressive in her role. I absolutely hate the hero of this novel, however, because like he was so spineless. But this book was very good, and in case you want to read stuff which will make you rebellious, because you need to be rebellious when you are a teen, these are the times when it's decided what kind of character you will have. And to have a character where you question everything that is happening in the world, you try to fight against it, that's the kind of character the youth should be having in these times. And this book is probably a step towards it. The next book that I want to recommend is sort of an exception, because this is not a book that I really like, but I still recommend it, and that is 13 Reasons Why by Jay Asher. It also has a Netflix series. This book is actually the Netflix series 1. this season 2 does not really have a book, which is weird, but okay. Now, 13 Reasons Why is one of those books that I want everybody to read because it deals with the concept of depression, suicide, not in the best possible way, obviously, but when you're in your teens, I think you should be reading about these in case you ever feel very depressed, in case you feel suicidal, then please go and ask for help, go and see a doctor because you really need to. It's not something called a mood, it's not a feeling. Depression is a real problem and you really need to go to a doctor to get yourself right on the track again. And in case you want any help, there are so many sites out there which have therapists and people who are going to talk to you and make you feel better. Just do a Google search because this has happened to every teen, I suppose, when you felt suicidal. So in case you're a teenager who is dealing with the same stuff that I've been through and so many of the people in this world have been through, make sure you're reading books to feel better and make sure that you are going out and asking for help. The next book I want to recommend is a mystery novel which was released like last week or last month, I guess. I totally forgot. But the thing is, I love this book so much. The Disappearance of Sally Sakira by Bhaskar Chattopadhyay, and this follows two detectives, actually one detective and one sidekick, which is like a cliche of every mystery novel ever. But still, this book is very good. The twist at the end was so amazing. When you're in your teen years, make sure you're reading mysterious stuff as much as you can because so many amazing things lie ahead of you and you need to be prepared for that. I'll suggest one poetry book recommendation in this video, and that is Pablo Neruda's poems. You can go for his love poems because I absolutely love his poems. I am not a huge fan of love poems, honestly, but Pablo Neruda writes such beautiful poems that I just can't stop myself from reading them. And then you can also read poems by Sylvia Plath, though I'll say that her poems are very melancholy and it just gives you the feelings of depression and suicide. It's terrible to read her poems emotionally, but it's so satisfying. Another book which is a very mild book that I really enjoyed was Ruskin Bond's Bus Stop People Nagar, and it's just life at a quaint old sort of a village, People Nagar, which is like a very small area, and the people living there and this guy who's going to be leaving. The sort of feelings that you have when you will have to leave home for pursuing better opportunities, which is going to come anyway, maybe in your teens, maybe a few years after your teens, and it's obviously a very sad thing to happen in anybody's life, but their life has to go on. And Ruskin Bond's book actually captured every moment perfectly in that book, so make sure you're reading that book. I have that book, actually it's a novella, so it's collected in this book called Unhurried Tales, about which I've told you guys in so many videos that I don't really want to show the book again and again. But in case just you want to, you can also buy the single copy of the book. But obviously Unhurried Tales comparatively will cost you less because it is a collection of novellas. The next book that I want to recommend is R.K. Narayan's Malgudi Days. I read Malgudi Days, a few stories from Malgudi Days when I was in school, and I read the whole collection sometime about, I think, in March or April because I found a copy in the local library. R.K. Narayan writes the sweet tales, the funny tales, the sad tales. Everything is just captured so beautifully. Life in India is reflected at its best in R.K. Narayan's books, and that's what I love about him. Also guys, Rakhi is coming up and I wanted to recommend a book that is great for girls and boys at the same time, and this book is called Like a Girl, and this book is actually written by Aparna Jain, and there are so many people who have contributed to the art in this book, which I absolutely love. The reason why I recommend this book not only for girls but also for boys is that it tells the tales of some amazing women, and first we need to start educating our boys about the importance of women, and only then we will be able to establish the perfect society that we admire. And I really feel that if women are taught about men from their childhood, because the first man that I ever read about was Mahatma Gandhi, and then it came to Rabindranath Tagore. Then I read about, I think, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, then Jawaharlal Nehru. It took me so much time to read about Jhansi Ki Rani. It took me even more time to read about the women in Tagore's household who are no less important than Tagore himself, at least in his life and with the influence they had in their times. Because without the women of the Tagore household, there would have been so many things in Kolkata that would have been different than what they are right now. That is the reason why I feel that books with strong female protagonists should be read not only by women but also by men themselves. This is a book that I want to recommend once again to girls and boys at the same time. The book name is Letters for Literary Ladies by Maria Edgeworth, which was written almost 200 years ago. You can see the progressive mentality of this woman and other people surrounding her of the time in these letters. These letters have been probably written by her as far as I know, but if it's otherwise, just let me know in the comment section below. But the imagination actually elevates everything to a whole new level, and I absolutely love the first two letters. So in the first letter, this is sort of a spoiler in case you don't want to see it, just skip it to the time that I'm mentioning here. So in the first letter, there is this man who's congratulating his friend or boss, I am not really sure who. He's just congratulating this guy on the birth of a daughter. And he says something like this, just a second. This is a very old library copy, so I absolutely love the smell that's coming from it. So the letter goes somewhat like this. I congratulate you, my dear sir, upon the birth of your daughter, and I wish that some fairies of ancient times were at hand to endow the damsel with health, wealth, wit, and beauty. Full stop. Wit? Question mark. I should make a long pause before I accepted of this gift for a daughter. You would make none. So, in case you did not understand, because the language is a bit difficult for beginners, he is congratulating this man for the birth of a daughter and saying that I hope your daughter gets health, wealth, beauty, and wit. Then when he says the word wit, he's like, no, wit is not the sort of thing a girl should have. And then throughout this letter, he is actually elaborating why women should not receive education. And it's really, really sad to read this letter. But the next letter, which is the reply of the father, is absolutely beautiful. And this makes me feel so happy, because we have to know that if women are progressing today, the reason is actually a few men. Obviously, we would have done that even if men did not support us. But the thing is, process would have been even more slow. But there are men who actually supported the education of women, which is the reason why women are at a much more better position today than they were in the times when this book was written. Really, I hope to see even more progress in the years that are coming. So let's see what happens. The father's belief in the education of women is something that every person should read. Every person should read this book to know why education of women is so important. And there are other letters from different kinds of people, but the first two letters were the best of this book. The last recommendation that I have for you guys is to read ghost stories. I love the ghost stories collections of Maple Press Publications. I'll leave a link in the comment section below or in the description below. Just go check it out, because I absolutely was so scared of ghosts. But reading just made me a little less scared of them. And I also started enjoying ghosts, to be honest. You can also read books by Mary Shelley and Bram Stoker in case you want to read supernatural but not ghost stories exactly. They have written Dracula and Frankenstein respectively, and I absolutely love how they write. But their writing style is a bit difficult, so in case you are not accustomed with reading difficult language, you may want to not read them unless you are advanced enough. But in all other cases, please give them a read. These were the books that I had to recommend to you guys in case you are a teenager, or if you want to read books that are good for teenagers. In case you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you gave it a big thumbs up. Now let me tell you guys that don't start commenting that you did not mention this, that, this, that, this, that. Please don't, because this is just one video. If I mention hundreds of books in just one video, then who's gonna run this channel after that? Like, I don't have any topic after that if I make such a long video. So that's the main reason why I don't recommend a lot of books which I know are very, very good. I'll be recommending them eventually, so please stay tuned. Make sure that you're subscribed. In case you like my videos, make sure you're using the links in the description below to shop on Amazon or Flipkart, because that will help me a lot to keep posting content on my channel. In case you want to directly support me, you can do that using Amazon gift cards and sending them to my email ID, which is in the description below. It's thehellyblog@gmail.com. This week, I am donating 50% of whatever I earn from or through YouTube to Kerala flood relief funds, and I really encourage you guys to do the same because they really need our help. I'm so thankful to Saroj Chetri and Swapnil for donating towards my channel this week, because your contribution helped me a lot, and 50% of it has already gone to Kerala flood relief funds, and I'm so devastated at the thought of whatever is happening, because so many subscribers of my channel are from Kerala, and I really hope that you guys are safe. Please let me know if you're okay. I'm so proud of all the subscribers who told me that they donated towards the funds after watching my posts, because thank you so much. I think you have given me a lot of love, and with so much love, I also have some responsibility towards my community, and I hope that I'm living up to it. And in case you don't have the ability to donate money, please just share the message with your friends and family. I am pretty sure that's also gonna help, because you may not be an earning member, but your friends and family may have them. So just make sure that you are sharing the message, because it's as important as donating itself. So yeah, just do it. I hope that everything becomes fine real soon, and till my next video, bye bye.